I think I threw myself through 24 hours of I suppose what can be seen as well, the ultimate 24-hour personal test. I've been racing, yeah, quite a few years now in class 40, and now I'm stepping up to the bigger class, hopefully, the 60 class. And meanwhile, I'm basically getting my feet wet in a few other really interesting challenges. I'd say tough challenges. I love the tough sailing challenges, particularly the ones that have a bit of uncertainty and adventure around them. And this is what's brought me to Svendborg. Yeah, well, this is unlike anything I've done before. I mean, most of the offshore races I've competed in are several days long, 2-3 days minimum. This is a bit of a sprint compared to that. This will be around, I guess, 15 hours. But it's like the number of boats is insane. I mean, the maximum number I'd be competing in a class normally would be about 20 to 30 boats, sometimes more. But I've got 100 boats in my class in this race, all starting at the same time, 100 other yachts, imagine that, single-handed as well. And there's 450 boats here in total in this race, which makes this the biggest single-handed race in the world. Well, this has always been on my bucket list because I guess it is just a very particular race. It is the largest single-handed race in the world in terms of entries. But just because of the simplicity, it's brilliant. I mean, you just have to race around an island, a big island. We're talking about, you know, one of the biggest islands in Denmark, and you just have to race around it as fast as possible. And that's really the only rule, you know. It's a very clean and simple concept for the race. And yeah, it's also going to be challenging with the competition. I mean, there's a lot of boats that are bigger than mine in the class, and the good thing about this race is it's very pure, so it's really first over the line in your class. So there's no rating, no handicap race, so it's that. So I just love that pure aspect about it. You know, if you're racing against another boat in your class who's a 40-footer instead of a 36 like me, then to beat him, I've got to finish in front of him. And so it's going to be tricky because there's going to be some faster boats potentially, which are bigger boats. But I think with this Beneteau 36, it's a light boat. It slips along really well in the light winds. I think it's a very good all-round boat. So I think it'll be pretty fast in every condition. So really, it's going to be about keeping clean tactics, staying awake. And yeah, and making sure that I don't run aground. The start's going to be really quite gnarly actually, because there's going to be just boats everywhere, and I think it's going to be really important not to hit anyone. You know, I think it's probably quite easy to either hit another boat or hit a sandbank. There's a sandbank just before the start, so yeah, I think you've really got to pay attention before the start, just not to do anything stupid. The gusts are quite significant, so you know, we're talking 30-knot gusts coming out into the channel here. But it is going to be mega gusty coming off this shore.
It's going to be mega gusty,
yeah. It's going to be a fun ride. Yeah. See you, man. See you soon. See you tomorrow morning. painfully slow sailing. So we passed the bridge 2 hours ago and we've done 3.6 miles. Right, so that's an average of less than 2 knots. Currently we're doing 1.1 over the speed over the ground. Still got current against us and we've only got 4 knots of wind. So it's very, very, very slow. And all the boats inshore are moving quite fast actually. Well, much faster than us. But we can't really get there at the moment without really taking a massive loss. We're just waiting for the wind to shift a bit so then we can tack over there. Okay, so it's now 7 o'clock, the sun's about to set and we're just passing the smaller boats. Well, the first class actually to start the race, which shows how much work we have to do. A huge amount of boats up ahead, as always. And it's going to be a long night. Hi, well it's a windy morning. Just got light, the wind is back, a long wind actually. There's about 21 knots. And I had the spinnaker up for the last two hours and overtook lots of boats, which is great. But then after a jibe I had 2 massive approaches in some pretty gusty wind and the spinnaker basically ended up twisting around the forestay. So I had to get it down. At the moment I got the jib up, just going downwind, and I'm going to try and repack the spinnaker. This race is tiring because you don't have any legs of more than a few miles where you can put the pilot on and go to sleep. The other big problem is that you're catching up all these slower boats as well from the classes that start before you. So if you go to sleep, then you can risk running into the back of another boat who might also be asleep. Then you have going upwind. You've got people crossing in front of you during the night the whole time. It was carnage.
That finish was crazy. The big park up here, literally no wind, and having to do quite a few jibes to try and get through. But no, that was awesome racing towards the end of the race. I really enjoyed the end of the race. That was amazing. I don't think I got the result I was ideally hoping for, but you win some, you lose some. But I do actually feel quite tired, as though I've been on the sea for a few days. And I just want to lie down and go to sleep. Even in that wet spinnaker. That actually looks appealing right now.
The race in general, tough. It's a course designed for the tough. And yeah, I think to be honest, I had a very, very kind of strong feeling of freedom and being liberated out on the water in my own little world, which I really like, you know. And we never get enough of this when we're going from the office to the home and to the gym and, you know, in your normal day of life. So that was great. It's just that whole escape, which I love. And you know, a 24-hour race like this is accessible to so many people. So that, you know, It was definitely great. Really enjoyed the race in general. Yeah, there were some really frustrating moments. It was really interesting because I was sailing on the first 36, which it's a new design, and I'd only had a couple of hours sailing on the boat before. Yeah, it feels like you're kind of sailing a race boat when you're actually out there on the race course and in the zone. You feel like you're not sailing a cruising boat, you're sailing a race boat, which gives you, yeah, all the creature comforts. I think the base concept of the 36 is really great because it's, I think, designed as a fast boat. So you're always kind of instead of starting with your comforts, you know, they've really started that with an all-round performance package with the boat, which I like. Having you know, finished the race, I'm sitting here I'm very satisfied, almost buzzing actually. I almost want to go and do it again a bit better.